Last Epoch can look a bit daunting at first. Huge skill trees included, there is an idle mechanic up here, and it probably has the most amazing crafting system that you can use everywhere at any time. Let me give you some basic to advanced tips that will help you with your playthrough. First, let's look at your skills and the Alt key. That will be your friend because it gives you all the bonus explanations you're looking for. You can see by hovering over a skill like skeletons, transplant, or your zombie, for example, what they actually scale with in the scaling tags, minion and intelligence. So everything that has the minion tag will help. And especially if you read through your skill, summon volatile zombie does physical and fire damage. And you can see that down there in the minion tags also, physical and fire plus spell. So if we're hiring now minion physical damage, minion fire damage, minion spell damage, all of this does work for our volatile zombie to make him stronger. And well, your intelligence in general does help as well. And for our transplant, it's a traversal skill. And I have a pair of boots now that says 3 minions teleport around you after you use a traversal skill and increase of minion damage, which means that every skill with a traversal tag actually works with this. Interestingly enough, I can turn my skeletal mages in the skill tree into a traversal skill. Yes, and now it also says counts as a traversal skill, and you can see it here in the scaling tags. So it also synergizes with my boots. The game gives you all the infos if you're looking for it. Up there in the top right corner, you want to know if volatile zombies can be made more mana efficient. Well, I'm going to type in mana, and you can see already there, summoning speed, mana cost efficiency. This would higher the mana, this would higher the mana, this would also higher the mana cost, but I found my node to reduce the mana cost. Same goes for increasing damage. You instantly find out what you need to scale the damage of your skill. And that search bar is with you everywhere. In your stash, you go in. Here we type in armor, for example, because I'm looking for bonus armor items. And then I can go through my sets, my idols, and what's so ons to quickly find what I'm looking for. And if you need some more in-depth explanation on certain skills, you can press G. That's the game guide. Now I could look for the minion mechanics, and it'll tell me a lot of things of how it actually works. Minions are allies of the player that are summoned by skill. Items pass for other effects. Minions automatically attack enemies and will run towards the player. And with the key A, you can make them move forward to actually do your bidding. So if you missed out on an explanation, if you missed out on anything in the tutorial, there is the whole glossary to provide you all the information on a quick checkup. Now your character sheet can be a bit much. The main interesting part is the middle, resistances, because these want to be up at 75 and they can even be pushed beyond. 75 is the standard cap, and there's various ways to get this up. In my case, as the Necromancer, I do have an amazing passive in the Necromancer tree, which will increase my elemental resistance per point. That's only elemental resistance, which doesn't include, for example, physical, necrotic, and void. That you have to hire otherwise. For that, responsible is your gear, with the belt for void resistance, with the helmet for void resistance, for example. And here you get a look for the intrinsic stats that the items have. You see under the gloves, there's plus 21 armor and plus 25 resistance. The boots, for example, only give me armor, movement speed, and dodge rating, but my flower here gives me also plus 5 to all resistances. My chest piece adds another 30 fire resistance. These intrinsic stats are not only important for resistance, they're also very good for damage. For example, on your jewelry, they can provide bonus critical strike chance, but in my case, minion damage, minion health, and minion critical strike multiplier, and that on every single item, plus then they can have it as actual minion damage on the item as well on top. Now your final resistance scaler is going to be your idols. Idols is the screen in the top right corner, and that binds tightly together with side quests. The idols can boost your damage vastly. This one gives me 24% increased volatile zombie damage, explosion area, and I get increased spell damage while I'm at low health. It's quite good. That one here, critical strike to skeletal mages, and increases minion physical damage. Physical damage, that would be my summon volatile zombies, and there's on top my bone golem too, as it says physical in the tags. But they simply can provide you with void resistance, health regeneration, physical resistant health on kill, and my favorite one, just mana and health plus. Simple as this. Now, in order to get these idle slots unlocked, you have to do side quests, and they'll tell you what they give you. Passive points, just experience and gold, or they'll say idle inventory expansion. And these ones you want to do until you're completely expanded out. You have every single slot because idols make such a huge difference. Now to the crafting system, you simply press F wherever you are. And the crafting system is simply amazing because it allows you to take items that you have further. Let's take my offhand for example. Haven't found a better one in a while. It gives me increased minion damage, dodge rating, and void resistance. Mainly I'll keep it for the minion damage. There's multiple things I can do right now. You have a forging potential up here, and forging potential gets lost whenever you forge something. Now this only has 3 stats. I could, with the plus, just add a 4th stat, and it instantly tells you what you have available to be applied and what can go on. I want more mana, because mana is quite nice. So I can just put it here, and then I can activate a glyph as well. This is the Glyph of Hope. Modifies the outcome of a craft, granting a 25% chance to have no forging potential cost. So with this right now, and the shard, I'm going to add mana, and if I'm lucky, I'm not losing forging potential. Right now it's 2 less, but I get plus 10 mana. And I can do more. I can also change out the dodge rating. If I don't want the dodge rating, I can just swap over to the Glyph of Chaos, and the Glyph of Chaos modifies the outcome of a craft when upgrading an affix, and it randomly changes the affix I have. So now I can upgrade and reroll, and this is now wood per second. Fantastic. Cost me forging potential, lost me the dodge rating, but I get something that is more useful for me than dodge rating. And then lastly, I can just upgrade the minion damage. You notice I can take this item with me into the end game by just continuously upgrading it. Now I do want to keep the minion damage here, so we'll upgrade it again, lose 3 forging potential, or we get another 7% increase in minion damage. In order to keep upgrading things, you need to find these shards, or you'll rip the shards out of items. Let's take this belt for example, has 4 stats, and minion health is one of the ones I would like to have as a shard. So I can now take this book out and equip it again, put this in here, remove the scroll, and then I can add a rune of shattering. That rune of shattering will destroy the item and give you an amount X of shards. It could be cooldown speed, it could be critical avoidance, it could be extra potion slot and health, it could be minion health. It could also be all 4. Any combination of these is going to happen to you. So we break it apart and I get cooldown recovery speed and a critical strike avoidance shard. You'll later get more shards easily in the end game, but this is a way how you can break apart items that have the stats that you want and provide you just with bonus shards. Other runes worth mentioning, the Rune of Discovery adds a random tier 1 affix to all empty affix slots on an item. So if you have one with only 2 affix slots, 3, you can just take this in here. I can use, instead of crafting what I want, just the Rune of Discovery, and then just add a random tier 1 affix. Boom, slapped on, dodge rating. There's more. And if I don't like the dodge rating, we can go back, chaos, upgrade it, and reroll that into cold resistance. Fantastic. That is actually brilliant. So now we have a 12% cold resistance plus, and we're moving further towards the 75 resistance cap. Let's talk about reskilling. That can be a little bit iffy at times because you do lose experience as you're reskilling. First, your passive points. For passive points, you just go to the brain lady on the map, talk to her, and you can just click and refund this for gold, and just as many as you want, just click it down and get every single point back to then put them back in again. For your skills, it looks a bit different. These are all level 14 right now. If I would like to change my skill from mage to, for example, wraith, or even if I just want to reskill a point, I have to press the respec button, remove points, and then I click them away. The thing is, if I click them away, I don't get them back. So I will reduce the level of the skill from 14 to 13 and lose this point, but I'll gain the XP back faster to put the point back in again. And if I want to completely remove a skill here, I will get 6 points because that's my minimum specialized level currently, 6. I'll get 6 points to straight up put into the next skill like Drat Shade, for example. But there's a faster experience gain to my max level of 14 here right now, so the skill soaks up relatively fast. That is 100% annoying, but it's simply part of the game. Don't forget to equip your loot filters. They're very easy to make yourself, or you can just import one from the internet. There's a link in the description below to this website where you can enter, for example, Necromancer, and we can check out. They're all beta 0.9, but nothing really changed on the Necromancer apart from some skills get better. And we can check out what this does. It shows all unique items, all set items, all normal items, magic items, affixes, subtypes, ones. And you can even dive in and figure out which affixes is it showing. Does it make sense to use spell damage increase? No, that doesn't make that much sense to me because I don't personally want spell damage. I want minion stuff. I want ward. I want the acolyte specific ones for maximum amount of skeletons. Yes, that is actually good. But you could also make a simple loot filter yourself. And for that, you just go into manage loot filters, press plus here to create a new filter. Call it I don't know what I'm doing. Give it the color red because this is dangerous. And then you can add rules from now on. Simple one would be rarity. We press add condition, none, rarity, and go for normal. We don't want to see a single normal item, not a single white one. Hide, and that's update. Hide all normal items. And you can add another rule. And here we go for hide, add condition. And that is also rarity. And we can hide all the magic items. So we don't want to see any magic items because they're annoying. So like this, you have already all the magic and the normal items hidden and they won't be bothering anymore. You will see everything else though. Now you could specify show affix. And in that affix, we're going for resistance because we want resistance gear. So we can go for resistance on armor. And here we show everything, all the resistances, apart from resistance while channeling, because that doesn't do anything for me. Confirm. And then we can say recolor and have it always appear as red. So every resistance gear will now be red with these 9 affixes. And that's just very simple loot filter to just a little bit filter it out. It will show you still all magic items, but you know instantly if one has resistance on it that you're looking for, that it's your color. And if you're now a minion player like me, because I'm looking mainly for minion stuff, I can add affix, again, look for minion related stuff. And there we would be looking for minion and then minion damage, minion health, minion spell and bow damage, minion melee. No, melee damage, it is not. So this is kind of like all the 3 minion things we already want. And then you can also go for acolyte and that has minion freeze rate. No. Damage to minions reflected to attackers. No. Increased critical strike chance for you and your minions. Sure. That's something we can take. And then you could go over the idols as well. Minion fire damage, because that's what we're doing. Critical strike chance for you and your minions. And then death mark on hit doesn't hurt. Increased minion cooldown recovery speed. Sure, why not? And then, boom, confirm. And that one is also recolored into blue. So every item that has that on it will show up in blue. Not complicated to make your own filter, but it might be easier to just import one for exactly the build you're playing. Ladies and gentlemen, what class did you choose? Drop it in the comments below, and I hope these tips will help you. If you want to see now my Necromancer build I've been flying through the campaign with, roughly going to be hitting 60 under 4 hours to be straight ready for the monolith. Fantastic.